Hello students, in this video I am going to tell you about abstract. I am not going to give you the definition or synonym of the abstract in this video. So what I am going to tell you in this video is that I'm just going to tell you about what are the important points of the abstract and how can you write the abstract. So abstract in journal, it can be on for any type of research for in the any field. So how do you write it? So let's start. So here goes on abstract. The abstract is a summary of the contents of the report. It is therefore a concise statement of the objectives of the test and highlights of the lab results, discussion and conclusions. Although the abstract is the first section in the report, it is best to write it last after you have finished plotting all the graphs, analyzed the data and written the discussion and conclusions. So the abstract is perhaps the most important section of your manuscripts for several reasons. Manuscripts, or you can say your research report. First, the abstract is the first section that is read by journal editors when deciding whether to send your manuscript or research paper for review or report. Similarly, once your work is published, it is the first section that is examined by the readers. In many cases, it is the only section of the manuscript that they will ever read. So let me tell you one thing. The most important point is that from this paragraph, what I get it and what I am going to tell you is that you have to write the abstract in the last when you have completed all your research or report, and then finally you have to write down your abstract. But keep it in mind, you have to write it at the end of after winding up all of your research report, but it is the first page of your research report. So it should be in the start of your report, but it should be right, or it should be written in the end of the research. So let's start. What are the important points? What are the important points we have to consider while writing an abstract? So tips for writing a strong abstract. Write the paper first, means you have to write the research paper first or research report first. Then provide introductory background information that leads into a statement of your aim. This is also for the final year project students as well. Briefly describe your methodology. Clearly describe the most important findings of your study, and then state the conclusion concisely and avoid overstatements. You don't give so much detail in this. So what does it mean by that? Your abstract is the summary of your report. So write the paper first. So what are the things you have to be very careful? If you are having a hard time figuring out where to start, consider going through your paper and highlighting the most important sentences in each section: introduction, methods, results, and conclusion or discussion. Then use these sentences as an outline to write your abstract. So keep it in mind what you have to discuss in your abstract: introduction, methods, results, discussion, conclusion, but not in detail. You don't need to give extra statements. You have to be limited and you have to be very particular. So I am moving towards the next point. And the next point is that provide introductory background information that leads into a statement of your aim. So what it will be here? The first section of your abstract is very valuable real estate. These first three sentences must inform the reason or reader about why you have undertaken this research. What is the reason behind this research? Why are you doing this so? So, such statements can lead very naturally into a statement of how your research uniquely addresses the issue. Use of introductory phrases such as "here we aim to" or "here we demonstrate that" indicates to the reader that you are stating the aim or purpose of your work. Wow, it's a bird. So, The next point is that briefly describe your methodology. So what it will be, the method section of your abstract is your chance to summarize the basic design of your study. You should be very particular. You are not going to write the whole detail of your method. You just write down the simple one or two sentences regarding your methodology. Excessive detail is unnecessary. However, you should briefly state the key techniques used. So keep it in mind, you should be very limited to the word count. So now clearly describe the most important findings of your study. So what are the most important findings of your study? Just as the abstract may be the most important part of your paper, the results subsection is likely the most important part of your abstract. This is because the main reason that people reading your abstract is to learn about your findings. Therefore, the results subsection should be the longest part of your abstract, and you should try to maximize the amount of detail you include here. But keep it in mind, you are not going to write the whole detail of the results. For example, you are going for the 2 or 3 pages. You should be very precise and you should summarize your results. You are not going to write down the 3 or 4 pages on it. So it may, for example, if you are writing 30, 30 lines, or you are having word count of 250 words for the abstract. So what does it mean by that? So your result will contain about 80 to 90 words. So it's like that. So next, state the conclusion concisely and avoid overstatements. So how can you do that? The last 1 2 sentences of your abstract should be devoted to the overall take home message of your study. Your conclusions, a good way to begin this section is with phrases such as our study revealed that, or overall we concluded. Then state your main findings as concisely as possible. So keep, remember in your mind, you should be limited. If you have other interesting secondary findings, these can be mentioned as well, but should be limited to the word count. Finally, consider including a sentence that states the theoretical or practical implications of your work, or describe how your work has advanced the field. This will help readers to more clearly understand the importance of your findings. So keep it in mind, you should be limited to the word count. Things to avoid in an abstract. What are the things you have to avoid it? So the abstract is meant to be a summary of your research. As such, it usually carries a strict word count limit. It is around 250 words, or you can say 300 words, but not more than that. So, lengthy background information, readers use your abstract to learn about your current work, not the previous work of other researchers. You are not going to give the detail of other researchers' work in the abstract. So, details about your routine laboratory procedures, you are not going to discuss what are the methodology, how did you perform the test, what is the method you consider, you just write it down. You are not going to give the detail of your laboratory procedures in this. Next, details about the statistical methods. You are not going to give the details of this. Then, undefined abbreviations or acronyms. You are not going to use abbreviations or acronyms in it with undefined. You can define abbreviations or acronyms, but you are not going to use undefined abbreviations or acronyms. Results or interpretations that are not discussed in the text. You are not going to tell that which value you are getting it from this and the other value is this. So you are not going to give it. You are just writing conclusion and result. Actually, the abstract gives an idea to the reader that what is the background of your research, what is the reason behind that, what is the methodology you have taken it, and what are the results and conclusions of that. But you should be precise and limited, and you are not going to give so much detail in it, because your report will tell it. And finally, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye bye.